me a second. All right. So again, welcome to the December ECEF webinar. I am going to share the slideshow with you all. And let's see if this works from beginning. Okay. Brandon, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the correct screen? The one that you should be seeing, or do you see the behind the scenes screen?
I see the behind the screen or scenes
Oh,
screen.
dang. Okay, stop sharing. I will share again. Thank you. Screen 2. I think we got it this time. Brandon, can you verify for me?
You are
Yes.
good to go.
Okay, great. All right, now we are all synced up and ready to go. So I think we might have a little bit of a smaller group today. I know that December and just this time of year in general is a little bit busy for everyone, and some people are on more extended leave. So as usual, we're recording and then we'll be posting this information afterwards for anyone that can't make it today. And I'll go ahead and start with sharing the agenda. All right, so we have not a super full agenda today. We wanted to leave a lot of flexibility in the timing for a presentation we have today. And so we're starting with a little welcome. We'll do a short icebreaker. I have a couple brief reminders, and then we'll talk also briefly about the equity plan. Um, and then we have a wonderful presentation from Latino Network. We're going to hear from some of their staff about what it is that they do and the programs through ECEF. So I'm really excited for that. And then we will have time at the end for questions. And if we end earlier, then you can just get a little bit of your time back. And if not, we'll have there will still be time for questions at the end. So thank you all for being here today. When I'm sharing my screen, I can't really see many of your faces, but for those that I can see, it's lovely to see you. So I want to remind you to please sign in. Brandon has been putting the sign in link in the chat for you. And that just helps us keep track of who may be missing the information to make sure that when we send out the recap information, you're receiving it. And that, like, hopefully there's at least one person from each agency each month that can attend. So thank you so much for being here. All right. We are going to start off with a little icebreaker. And as we often do, I really enjoy doing the waterfall responses in the chat. And then if anyone would like to come off mute, I would love if, excuse me, if anyone wants to share with the group, share out loud a response to the icebreaker. So often I do ones that are related to the time of the year. Sometimes they're a little different, but this time seems like a good time to ask about a favorite winter or holiday tradition or activity that's special to you and or your family. So I always just love hearing, yeah, special things for everyone, for my loved ones, friends, that make this time of year feel extra good. So I'd love to, if you respond in the chat, and then if someone wants to come off mute too and share, that'd be great. And maybe Brandon, you'd be willing to read out some of the responses in the chat since I can't really see them as easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jeffrey likes to make tofu tacos for Christmas Eve dinner.
Oh, nice.
Nice. I am about to hit enter on mine. I'll read it since there's not other ones in there.
Okay.
My family, we don't do a traditional Christmas. We call it Loot Day. So the kids and I just spend the whole day playing games. And as everybody wins, they get their presents to open throughout the day. So instead of it being a few minute item and it's longer. Allison makes a big pot of stuffed grape leaves. Excellent. spending time with family and watching movies.
I can share something while some are still coming into the chat. My family really likes to take saunas, and so one of the traditions is if we're lucky enough to get snow, we'll use the sauna, go get all steamy hot, and then go out, jump, lay in the snow, make snow angels, get all cooled off and crazy, and then go back in and warm up in the sauna. So that's just a fun winter tradition that we enjoy doing. There's more, but yeah, I'll just share that one.
I can share one. For the last 6 years now, my husband and I, we get advent calendars. And
Mm.
so it's always a beer, wine, or sake advent calendar. And so we make dinner and open our advent calendars together and have like a little drink together.
Oh,
This year we've included our dog, and so we found a Costco dog advent calendar.
Oh, fun.
oh my gosh,
And
I love that.
I've been recording them every day. We open one, and but it was for me so I could remember like how fun, and we take turns. But then as years went by, friends would reach out and say, "Are you doing that thing?" I would tune in every day to watch you guys open them.
Oh,
Um,
that's so sweet. I
and
love
so
that.
yeah, advent calendars have been just like we get excited when Costco brings them out in like October and we snag one, and then so our dog has been really excited and our cat has been incredibly jealous. So next year we'll have
Oh,
that one as well.
yeah. That makes me feel like a bad dog mom because it didn't even cross my mind that there were doggy advent calendars, and now I want to run to Costco and give my pup the backlog of all the ones from December
It's
1st.
the first year, so
Yeah.
I think it's news. Don't feel bad. I
Okay.
think it's a
Okay.
new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yadira likes to make hot chocolate and watch Christmas movies. Peculious movies. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Really
That is
cute.
movies.
Yeah.
Got
Yep.
it. Okay. Also tamales, meat pies,
Mm,
community events, a lot of the Christmas lights, more game days, and big dinners seem to be the
yeah.
hit.
Yes. Big family dinners. Would anyone else like to come off mute and share before we move forward with the agenda?
Sarah and I were both just comparing notes that our families all, whoops, I don't have Sarah on, there we go. That
Yeah.
we both celebrate midnight mass, and then our families open gifts after midnight mass and have a little meal. So Christmas Day is PJ Day. It all just happens around midnight.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
It's a beautiful time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
Thank
that's
you for
also
sharing.
a high key Christmas movie at our house, that and Gremlins.
Oh yeah, Gremlins. It's a good one. Okay. Anyone else before we move on? I hope regardless of what traditions you have, you're all enjoying this time of year. I know it can be challenging also in different ways. Um, and so, yeah, just sending thoughts to all of you during this time of year and holiday season. All right, so moving on to the next part of our agenda. Thanks for engaging in the icebreaker. So these are just very brief reminders. It was supposed to say reminders at the top. It says general updates, but a reminder from last time is that we do have a new day and time for our ECEF social hours, which were previously called office hours. So it just ends up being Brandon and I, and often Josefina sitting in our lonely meeting room together, hoping that an ECEF grantee will join us. So we would love if you have the ability to join. On the fourth Wednesday of the month, sometimes from 3 to 4:30. We are eagerly there awaiting you and just are there to visit, to answer questions. And if more than one grantee shows up, then it's a potential time for grantees to get to connect as well. So Just want to remind you and encourage you. I know you all have super busy schedules, and that's likely not a priority, but we will show up whether you're there or not, and we would love to see you if possible. Flora.
Is this one for December rescheduled because it's on the 25th?
Oh,
Or
that's a great point.
and the next one is the first, the New Year's Day. I don't know.
The next one is showing us.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. If you were to do it the week after, it would be New Year's
Oh, right.
Day. Sorry, that's
Yeah. I'm glancing at my calendar right now. So, yeah, maybe instead we could do it next Wednesday. That makes sense. Because sometimes when we have these recurring type meetings, they fall on a holiday, unfortunately. So, yeah, I will, let's plan on it being next Wednesday, sorry. So it would be the third Wednesday this month. I'm not exactly sure how I will do that as a link. I might have to send it out to you all on Tuesday because the recurring invite that falls on that would fall on December is the one on the ECEF portal, and that's the link you can use to join. So I'll just create a one-off link for one next Wednesday from 3 to 4:30, and hopefully that works for someone to join. So thanks for flagging that, Floor. I appreciate that. All right. Any other questions about that before we move on? Brandon, I see you're unmuted, so I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, nope. I just thought
Nope.
I had
And you don't have
remuted.
to mute, just check.
Sorry.
Okay. And I just wanted to remind you all, so I have sent this in an email as well, but I thought I'd mention it verbally at the webinar, that I know for some reason Zoom has just not been the best. And so I deleted the old webinar series, but some folks are still seeing the old invite on their calendar. And so sometimes, like right as we're starting the webinar, I'm getting emails saying like, I can't get in, and it's really hard for me to be able to respond. Often I don't see them until after the webinar since I'm hosting. And so I really want everyone to be able to access the meeting and have the accurate information they need. And so I just want to highlight that if you go to the ECEF portal, the link to the webinars is right there. So if you don't, you can even just create your own like placeholder on your calendar that says at this date and time, like go to the portal and join through that link. If you're experiencing issues with it being the incorrect link for some reason. I know I forwarded the invite to everyone I had contact information for, but it used to be through like my personal meeting room. And so even this morning, I'm seeing a couple emails of people joining my personal meeting room, which is not where the meeting is hosted anymore. So I'm just trying to cover my bases to make sure that you all have access and know where you can join if you do encounter errors with joining. Are there any questions about that piece before I move on? Okay. All right. So, the only other piece that I want to cover before we move on to Latino Network's presentation is that, so we have had, and so in all of your grant agreements, the equity plan is in there as an annual deliverable. And this is something that I apologize for not reaching out sooner to discuss the details of what that looks like or could look like for a second year. I have been kind of learning over my time of being with the agency, learning more about the equity plan, the origin, and just the intent moving forward. And so I worked in recent months to collaborate with colleagues and get a sense of what other programs are doing for their second year that an equity plan is due, because it did make me, you know, scratch my head a little bit like, wait, we already had grantees turn in, create, you know, spend the time building an equity plan. Clearly, we're not asking them to reinvent the wheel and create a new plan. That wouldn't make sense. So I needed my own clarity before I could speak with all of you about what that would look like. And I know now it's partway into December. So before I discuss what those plans can look like or what we're requesting, I just want to highlight that, as I've mentioned, I know December and this time of year is just really busy. And in the grant agreements, it says it's due December 31st. I always try to be as flexible as possible whenever I can, with the timeline that things are due. And so, as you know, we have a request and submissions link on the portal, and using that link, you can submit or request an extension request. And so I encourage you, if it feels stressful, too tight of a timeline, please don't hesitate to submit an extension request. I cannot imagine a scenario in which I would not approve it unless your request says that you just don't want to do it, or you would wait till June to turn it in or something. So I encourage you to take advantage of that, because I know this is, yeah, just a hard time of year. I'm not sure who decided that we would have them due in at the end of December, but I think moving forward, I would adjust that. If I'm able to sway that timing, because I think having anything due at on the very last day of the year is not ideal for anyone. So now to the part of clarifying what we'd love to see in regards to an equity plan. We would just love for you to use this as an opportunity to spend some time reviewing what you did submit last year. Maybe reflect on like, maybe we want to adjust this goal or this the way that we framed something. Or if you want to write like reflections on like, well, we did make some progress in this area. You could just add a little like cliff note to the bottom of what you already submitted. Basically, we want it to be kind of like a living, breathing document that like you have created. You can like feel like you have time and the opportunity to revisit, see, like adapt it to fit your agency needs and the direction that you're headed. And so that's kind of all that we're asking. So I think the goal is just to continue bringing kind of equity to the forefront. And I know I've had lots of discussions with grantees about the requirement for an equity plan. And I do just want to mention that it's something that as an agency, they're always looking at like growing and changing the way of doing things. And so it's possible there will not be a tangible plan like this due in the future. I There's been lots of kind of sharing about what meaningful work around equity or reflection around equitable practices within agencies or programs in Oregon, like what that could look like. And there isn't just one way to do that. So just want to highlight that this isn't necessarily here forever, that this is the exact way that we'll be like approaching this topic. And I would love to have more of a conversation about this at webinars and potentially if we move away from this model too of having it be like an individual plan. I think it would be neat kind of to talk about it at a webinar and come up with kind of shared goals or visions within like amongst ECEF grantees. That was one idea that I had. So anyways, I'll we will talk more about that another time. But for now, I just wanted to highlight you know, clarify what we are asking for in terms of the equity plan deliverable. And I also know that it's possible you might not be able to easily locate what you submitted last year. And so if you find yourself not knowing exactly what you submitted, if you submitted different documents related to like your vision statement from your agency, or because they all really looked very different, what we received from grantees, they were very individualized. So we are happy to send you back what you submitted. But I just need an email from you requesting it, and then I will download and send that back to you. So with that being said, are there any questions related to what I just shared about the equity plan deliverable?
Hi, Emma. Just
Hi.
question.
Yeah.
Once we are able to make updates and whatnot, are these updates then submitted into the portal as well?
Yes, so it would be submitted the same way you submitted the first version. So yep, using the portal with the requests and submissions link. And that's the same place, like I said, that you'll go if you need an extension request. So the sun is in a funny spot where it's either too bright or too dark if I close the blind. So now I'm gonna be bright and shiny for you all for the rest of the meeting. Okay, any other questions? If you do have more questions too, and you're able to join the office or social hours next week, that we're changing them to next week based on Flora's feedback, I can answer any clarifying questions in that during that time as well, if you're able to join. Okay, I think with that, we will move on because I want to make sure we have enough time for Latino Network's presentation. And before we get started with that, I wanted to mention to the Latino Network team that there's one slide, the one with the like locations of your programs at different schools, that it's just not showing up correctly on my end. So if you would like to take over the screen sharing and share yourself, you could do that, or we could just make sure we can skip that slide and then it will go out correctly when we send it out after the presentation. So if someone from Latino Networks team would like to tell me what you prefer, I will either start the slide on my end, or if you would like to share, that works too.
Yes, thank you, Emma. I feel like it'd be better if you just present and we can
If
see.
I did. Okay,
Yeah,
sounds great.
thank you.
Okay, and for the interpretation, Carolee, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize. I am hoping that you can join the main, like join the English channel and do interpretation from Spanish to English for the Latino Network team. Unless, Luce, you have someone that would like to, because I know you're going to present in Spanish. And so if someone from your team would like to translate or interpret to English, you're welcome to, but we also have an interpreter here. So,
No, it's fine. We can go with your interpreter. That's fine.
okay, great. Okay. I want to make sure that, could you give me an indication for interpretation that you're ready to go? Yes. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. All right, I will go to the first slide. And let me know if there's any big issue with any of the slides I'm sharing, because I don't know necessarily, but I just know there's that one. All right, I'll pass it to you.
Gracias, Emma. Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Cecilia Díaz. Soy una de las gerentes del programa Juntos Aprendemos y trabajo en la organización Latino Network. Y estamos aquí para hablar un poquito sobre nuestros programas, cómo funcionan y cuáles son los requisitos para poder participar. Entonces, voy a enfocarme en Juntos Aprendemos por ahora y después mi compañera va a hablar un poquito sobre Soñando Juntos. Entonces, pasamos a la siguiente presentación.
Can we pause for 1 second? I'm hoping that we can do consecutive interpretation for this part. So let's see, Cecilia, si podría hacer una pausa después de hacer o decir una o dos cosas y ella puede traducir. ¿Está bien? Ok, porque
Claro que sí.
cuando está haciéndolo así no se puede escucharte bien. Ok, ok,
Claro
sí,
que sí.
ok. Seguimos.
Bueno, este es Juntos Aprendemos. Aquí podemos ver algunas fotos de algunas de las actividades que hacemos durante el año con los niños. Este es el desfile de primavera, en donde los padres hacen disfraces para los niños de papel mayormente, y es todo relacionado con la primavera. Pasamos a la siguiente slide. Juntos Aprendemos es un programa culturalmente específico para familias latinas en el idioma español. No, no me doy cuenta en qué momento puedo volver a hablar. Solamente voy a pausar un poquito y voy a seguir.
Okay. Okay, I think maybe I should stop the interpretation channel because can you, Cecilia, no puede escucharla? Or
So I have it set to English and I'm hearing the simultaneous
right.
interpretation.
I wonder if Cecilia, ¿usted está en el canal de español? Oh, no. Okay. No sé por qué no puede escuchar la interpretación. Um, hmm, okay.
Okay. ¿Puedo pausar tal vez
Okay.
unos 2 minutitos?
Okay.
Ok, pues el objetivo principal del programa es preparar a los niños para superar las barreras que enfrenta la comunidad latina en el ambiente escolar. Sabemos que la comunidad latina pues tiene menos oportunidades, ¿verdad? No hay muchos programas que preparen a los niños desde pequeños para poder ser exitosos en el kinder. Siguiente presentación. ¿Cómo funciona nuestro programa?
Sí, es uno del, sí, this slide did not translate well, I think, on there.
Ya
Let's,
puedo hacerlo. Am,
okay.
es un programa familiar en donde participan ambos, padres y niños. Dura 30 semanas y nos reunimos una vez por semana. Durante 30 semanas. Y la duración por día o por clase es 2 horas solamente. Durante la primera hora nos concentramos en dejar que los padres y niños puedan interactuar haciendo diferentes actividades juntos para que los padres puedan aprovechar el tiempo con sus niños, pero también el descubrir las herramientas que ellos tienen para enseñarles. También es una oportunidad para que los niños puedan aprender los colores, las letras, los números. Y finalizamos con un círculo de lectura siempre. Pasamos a la siguiente slide.
Así, así es, no sabía, lo siento. Ok. Ahora podemos verlo. ¿Qué pasamos?
Va a ser igual en esta página.
Sí, ok. Nunca lo he hecho así, entonces no sabía, lo siento. Ok, vamos.
La parte, la segunda hora es los niños practican, pues practicamos la separación padres y niños para que ellos puedan experimentar una separación sana, saludable con los padres. Y también aprenden a seguir direcciones en grupo grande, tomar turnos, practican rutinas como lo hacen en la escuela y todo esto se hace mientras juegan, no es, es algo divertido para ellos. Y seguimos aquí, ellos siguen reforzando el color, la letra o el número de la semana y también desarrollan la curiosidad para aprender. Gracias. La siguiente, por favor. Y durante esa segunda hora, la clase de los padres consiste en que ellos reciben talleres sobre diferentes temas. Algunos son comunicación positiva, la cultura, el desarrollo infantil, la lectura. También reconocemos las herramientas que tenemos en casa y que podemos emplear para ayudar a los niños a desarrollar, pues, las habilidades que necesitan para el kinder. También ayudamos a los padres a empoderarse y ellos pueden decidir en base a su experiencia qué es lo que quieren conservar o preservar y lo que es mejor, ¿verdad? Para sus familias, para sus niños. Siguiente, por favor. ¿Cuáles son los beneficios de participar en nuestro programa? Pues van a tener la oportunidad de que su primera experiencia escolar sea en un entorno que abrace su cultura, su primer idioma y sobre todo en compañía de sus padres. También otro beneficio es que se fomenta en los niños el amor a la lectura. Hablamos del círculo de lectura, pero también tenemos oportunidad de prestar libros a los padres en español. También aumentamos las habilidades tempranas en los niños sobre las letras, los números en español y desarrollamos habilidades sociales. Gracias. Siguiente, por favor. También practicamos el comportamiento apropiado tanto en la escuela como en un salón de clase. También reforzamos nuestra identidad cultural a través de las historias, canciones, rimas, tradiciones que los papás comparten con sus niños. Fortalecemos también las habilidades de comunicación y abogacía en los padres para que sepan cómo abogar en la escuela por sus hijos cuando ya estén en el kinder, para que sus hijos puedan tener las mismas oportunidades que otros niños. Y también damos la oportunidad para que los padres puedan conocer la escuela, ya que nuestro programa está físicamente en la escuela. Estamos en salones de kinder, en donde los padres pueden saber cómo se ve la escuela, qué es lo que hacen los niños en la escuela. Y esto es para que los papás se puedan sentir cómodos en una escuela y poder ir a abogar cuando lo necesiten. Y también cuando hay oportunidad y tiempo de parte del personal de la escuela, los presentamos, los invitamos a nuestros salones para que los padres los conozcan. Gracias. La siguiente. ¿Quiénes son las personas o familias que califican? A familias que tienen niños de 3 a 5 años de edad y que vivan dentro del distrito para la escuela a la que vivan dentro del área de escuela. Y estamos en los condados de Multnomah y Washington. Washington. Ujú. La siguiente, por favor. Ya, y tenemos aquí la información de dónde contactarnos en caso de que tengan familias que estén interesadas en participar en nuestro programa. Anita Caravantes, está el número de teléfono ahí, mi nombre es Cecilia Díaz y también tenemos los correos electrónicos, los podemos poner en el chat por si lo quieren tener para compartir esta información con nosotros. Sí, y por último, quiero decir que estamos ahorita en 16 sitios o 16 escuelas en estos dos condados. So, tenemos diferentes días y horarios disponibles por si no funcionan algunos para las familias. Tenemos, la mayoría son en la tarde, pero tenemos diferentes días en la semana. Gracias. Te lo paso a Luz.
Gracias, Ceci. Bueno, mi nombre es Luz Villanueva. También soy una de las Program Managers para Latino Network. Ah, yo, es- y yo les voy a hablar un poco acerca del programa de Soñando Juntos. Siguiente, por favor. Ok. Sí, Soñando Juntos es un programa diseñado para promover la crianza y el desarrollo saludable para las familias con niños de las edades de prenatal a 6 años. Siguiente, por favor. ¿Cómo funciona el programa de Soñando Juntos? En Soñando Juntos ofrecemos un sistema de navegación de recursos a las familias. Ofrecemos estos servicios por medio de conexiones y agencias aliadas en la comunidad. Estos recursos que ofrecemos a las familias incluyen recursos como referencias a programas de salud, si necesitan algún apoyo con violencia doméstica, educación o nutrición, al igual que vivienda. Nuestro programa también incluye visitas a casa a las familias en las cuales se brinda la oportunidad para ofrecer estos recursos y conocer acerca de las necesidades que tienen. Soñando Juntos ofrece grupos mensuales para las familias en los cuales se fomenta el aprendizaje temprano y se da la oportunidad para que los niños socialicen y las familias compartan. Las visitas de casa regularmente son 2 veces al mes, dependiendo la necesidad de las familias. En los grupos, los padres tienen la oportunidad de interactuar con otros padres, am, y donde pueden ellos también compartir sus necesidades y sus recursos, lo que les da esa fortaleza como comunidad. Siguiente, por favor. ¿Cómo funciona el programa de Soñando Juntos? Bueno, como mencioné, oh, pueden
It's
pasar a
the
la siguiente. eh,
Yeah. Yes, it's the same slide in English, just to announce that. So everyone will get to see that in English and Spanish when I send the slideshow later.
Gracias. ¿Cuáles son los beneficios de participar en Soñando Juntos? Bueno, Soñando Juntos apoya con prácticas positivas de crianza y brinda estrategias para apoyar el aprendizaje temprano. Sí, también apoya lo que es el desarrollo físico, el área socioemocional, el área cognitiva de los niños a temprana edad. Apoya el bienestar familiar mediante, nuevamente, haciendo esas visitas de casa y haciendo screenings y assessments. También apoya el desarrollo de identidad, ah, fomenta la cultura familiar y brinda un sistema de apoyo para las familias durante los grupos semanales y las visitas de casa. Al igual que les apoya dándole las herramientas de abogacía que necesitan para apoyar a abogar por ellos mismos, una vez que los necesiten y los niños transicionen a las escuelas públicas. Mm, Gracias. ¿Y quiénes califican para nuestro programa? Bueno, Soñando Juntos es un programa gratuito para las familias que viven en los condados de Multnomah County, Clackamas y Washington County, con niños en edades entre los 0 a los 6 años. Para conectarse con nosotros y el programa de Soñando Juntos, pueden llamar a los siguientes números. Pueden llamar a Erika, a Yesenia Alemán, y aquí están sus números. También les pueden enviar correo electrónico o se pueden conectar conmigo. Mi información es la que está a mero abajo, Luz Villanueva, o enviarme correo electrónico.
Thank you so much, Luz and Cecilia. That was amazing to hear about your programs, and I'm curious if there are any questions from other grantees. I'm gonna pause for a moment. I loved seeing all the pictures too. I know you were sharing the information and you didn't necessarily talk about any of the pictures, but I'm hoping that people were enjoying them and getting to see examples of what you're doing in your groups with parents and children. So really fun to see that.
So I'm curious, are you a 501c3, a nonprofit organization?
Yes, we are a nonprofit.
But you're working in schools. So I'm curious how well received has that been? Has it been easy for you to work within the school districts that you serve?
Ceci, ¿te gustaría responder esa pregunta? ¿Cómo ha sido para ti el estar en las escuelas? ¿Si ha sido fácil o te has encontrado algunos retos?
Sí, para algunas escuelas en algunos distritos sí ha sido fácil. Son escuelas que siempre están apoyándonos, preguntando qué necesitamos, ellos mismos reservan los espacios para nosotros, pero en otras escuelas o distritos sí es un poquito difícil la comunicación con ellos y necesitamos como más, esforzarnos un poquito más en comunicar y dar seguimiento a los correos y ser un poco más claras o repetitivas en lo que queremos que nos apoyen. Pero sí, mayormente siento la experiencia positiva.
Yeah, and for Soñando Juntos, it's a little different because we focus a lot in home visits and then we do have groups once or twice a month. But we usually host these groups in community places. We do it like at community events, or sometimes we have like a reservation at our main office. So it's a little different. We're not in the schools as much as Juntos Aprendemos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Luz, would you be able to repeat a couple of the things that Cecilia mentioned? Possibly. I don't think the interpretation gets confusing with the interpreter on the other line. So I want to make sure that Heather could understand some of the response.
So yes, Cecilia was
Oh, you did get it, Heather?
I can understand quite a bit, and Sarah's
Okay.
bilingual, so she was
Okay. Oh, great.
because we can't, for some reason, I don't know if we're alone, we can't hear any English interpretation. So we were reading the
Oh, you
English
can't.
and
Okay.
I private messaged you, Emma, just because I didn't want to disrupt anything. Maybe it's just us and I'm not on the right something or other.
Okay.
So
But-
at the bottom of your screen, I apologize. I thought more people knew this, but just for future reference, at the bottom of your Zoom screen next to where it says like whiteboards, there should be a little globe and you can click on that and choose
Oh, very
English.
good.
So
Good.
then so
Good to
sorry
know.
about that confusion.
Yeah. Sorry.
We had enough backup that we could middle
Okay.
our way through, but no worries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I think
No problem.
since
Now I
we
know.
have an interpretation channel, everyone is supposed to choose either English or Spanish. But if you don't, I don't really understand how that works. Like, because you're still hearing me. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Confusing.
no worries. Now we know.
Sorry
Thank-
about that. Okay. Thanks for the great question. Any other questions for the team that shared? And just so that everyone knows, this will all be sent out in the recap email, so you'll have their contact information for both programs that they shared about. And I'm sure would love to answer any other questions and let you know about any spots that have openings that might be a good fit for families you're connected with. So
Yeah, can I just share one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Luz.
Yeah, so for the Soñando Perk, I know we have spaces available right now for Juntos Aprendemos, but in Soñando Juntos, we have quite a few spots right now, which is not really usual. We're usually at capacity. So if you guys know of anyone who might benefit from our program, please send me their information. You have my information on there, and then I can refer them to one of the coordinators. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, and it's an amazing slideshow. Hopefully you can also save that and use it for other things in the future too. And I'm excited that we will get to have that information and all the pictures on our end as well. So yeah, thank you. I'm sure that took a lot of time to create. So we appreciate all getting to learn about the amazing work that you're doing in community.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Yeah. Okay, so the last slide is just bringing us to the closing part of our meeting today. It is 12:02, so typically we try to end around noon and then leave the last 15 minutes or so for people who would like to stay for questions. And so Brandon and I's contact information is on this slide for you all. Please don't forget to sign in with the link that Brandon had put in the chat. And I'm going to stop recording, and then anyone who would like to stay for questions can go ahead and stay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen too. And thank you all so much for coming. And I hope until I see you next month that you have a great holiday season, whatever that looks like for you. So take care, everyone.